Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, Pricie here, and I'm back with another subscriber replay. Today we're taking a look at Toasty in his T-34 Tier 5 Russian medium tank. He's playing a round on the new remodelled El Haluf map, and he's going to show us how a medium tank should be played. I'm really looking forward to this round. When I first saw it, he does have one particular really lucky moment which kind of decided the result for him during the game, but we'll get to that a bit later. I don't want to give too much away. But otherwise, this was an absolutely sterling performance on his part for a tank that is generally regarded to be not amazingly good. Now, I'm casting no dispersions on the actual real-life T-34, which was a triumph in engineering for the Russians and almost certainly was one of the key factors into why the Red Army was successful against the German Army during the Second World War. However, in the game, it doesn't really quite do the tank justice due to I think mainly the tiering systems that you come up against in World of Tanks, and the fact that the numbers are completely equalised. It's 15 aside rather than during the Second World War, when the Red Army sort of outnumbered the Germans in tank-to-tank battles, sort of 2-to-1, gave them a superior numerical advantage. Because it's 1 versus 1 sort of thing, or 15 versus 15, and with the tiering system that's in play, the armour doesn't bounce as much as it really should do. Well, anyway, enough about history. Let's get with the game. So he puts in his first couple of damaging shots there on a Chinu, gets 160 damage, and the Su-85 comes and shoots him straight up the bottom. So first target down and a bit of damage done there for Toasty. And now he's beginning to work over an enemy T-34 and picks up his first kill. And the enemy T-34 is firing premium APCR ammunition back at Toasty's T-34 because aiming's for noobs, am I right? But anyway, Toasty dispatches him, no problem, and continues on his way. Now he's being very aggressive now. He's pushing up the right flank on El Haluf. Doesn't look like it's gone particularly well in the north of the map on the left flank for his team. Looks like they're generally being pushed back there, which I think Toasty's read the situation quite well here, and he realises that because the enemy have the bulk of their forces in the sort of B2A1 area, that the rest of the map must be fairly sparse on enemy tanks. So he's using that information that he's gathered from his mini-map, and he's being quite aggressive on this right-hand flank. Spots a bathtub, the S-35, and puts in a couple of shots into him. And he's just looking over at the flag at the moment, because this is encounter mode. So one single flag, which the enemy currently occupy and are trying to cap on at the moment, but there's plenty of time. There's no need to rush over there. I believe the encounter mode timer is in the region of 3 minutes. I think it's 3 minutes 20, unless I'm mistaken. So you've got plenty of time to mosey on over there and sort of decap if needs be. So still moving up the right hand flank along the 8 line. He knows there's a bathtub around here because he had a shot at him earlier. And he knows there's a few things up on this ridge line here to his left. So as he comes around the corner, he spots the enemy team's griller and the other artillery piece, the Stern Panzer II, puts it into him. Is that an artillery piece? I may be mistaken, I'm not sure. But puts it into the enemy griller as well, which is a tier 5 artillery piece. It's great to get him out of the game because they are quite dangerous. And here's the bathtub that he was shooting earlier. Puts in some more solid shots into him. Takes one in return from the T-49, who's revealed himself to be in the cap circle. But pulls back just a little bit out of the T-49's line of fire. Finishes off the bathtub and starts putting some shots across into a M5 Stuart on the far ridge. He gets a shot into him, but he doesn't get the kill. Now he spots a T1 Heavy. Not the greatest range for his gun, and since he isn't even carrying any premium ammunition himself, he's going to have to deal with the lackluster penetration of the 57mm, particularly at range like this. As you can see, he's shooting at targets quite far away, So as we all know, yeah, 530 meters away they are. So the penetration values of the guns or the ammunition drops for AP and APCR. As the range increases, you lose penetration basically. So this gun isn't particularly great for penetration as it is anyway. So, and the T1 Heavy, even though the side armour on it is quite weak, it does have a nice plate of spaced armour that runs along the side of the tank, which just generally gives it a little bit more protection along the side. So a bit of a tough target to penetrate for the 57mm. But he gets in a couple of shots and it's put him on his 5th kill. So that's a pentakill for Toasty. And it's time he went down and investigated what's going on at the flag. He knows there's a T-49 here because he took a shot from him earlier. Time for him to reset and deny the enemy a cap victory, or deny them from being able to continue capping and risk the game in such a way. And turns out the T-49's a one-shot, so he gets a nice roll, puts a shot into the backside of the T-49 for his 6th kill. Now there's 2 tanks left for the enemy team. One was last spotted, as you can see, in the B1 area, and the other gentleman, I think, has remained unspotted for the entire game. So this could well mean that they are AFK, or indeed just never left the cap circle or the spawn area, as there is no real cap circle on this map because it's encounter, but the spawn area over where the one location is, you can see there at sort of C9. So Toasty's making his way up to the now left-hand side of the flank along the one line, see if he can investigate and find the last 2 enemy tanks. The Su-85 is coming with him as well to give him fire support, and the Su-122A artillery piece is back at the base, but due to the rather poor mid-tier and extremely poor Russian mid-tier signal range for his radio, he's out of radio contact with his artillery piece. So he has his last known position on the map, which we can see was sort of K3, but the artillery piece could well have moved, and Toasty would not even know about it. So anyway, he comes around the corner and whoa, surprise DW2, and this is the lucky moment I was telling you about earlier. This could quite easily have been the end of the game for Toasty, but luckily, for whatever reason, the DW2 has decided to go AFK, make himself a cup of tea, have a shower, do the washing up, whatever, but he's not there, he's not playing. His tank's just left there AFK, so Toasty gets to farm in for some free damage, which puts him on 1950 damage done, and that was Toasty's 7th kill. Only one away from a Radley Walters, but there is still one enemy tank out left on the field, and it's a tier 5 heavy. Toasty is at half health at the moment, so this could be tricky. And there we are, we get the bad news. The VK who's left alive for the enemy team is on 660 health, he's on full health. Can the Su-122A take any health off of him? We'll soon see. He's losing his health quickly. No, he can't. The Su-122A artillery piece goes down without managing to derp the VK in the face and remove any of that hit point pool. So Toasty's got quite a bit of work to do ahead of him. So he's making his way up. He really wants to look for this 8th kill if he can, because that would be a Radley Walters medal on the table for him, which would just make this round even sweeter. And he spots the enemy VK. He puts in a shot, but either didn't penetrate or was sponged by his tracks. And now the VK is scoped in. So he does the clever thing. Doesn't want to poke up from the same position twice. Because if the VK is aimed in on that corner, then you really don't want to be there. So he's flanking around again. He's going to try and attempt to come up behind the VK. The Su-85 is, in the meantime, started the capture process. And I believe he's got himself into a position where he can offer some fire support up to the ridgeline at E2, where the VK is now. And yep, there he goes. The Su-85 puts in a shot on the VK and takes away some of that hit point pool, leaving him on 479. And at that point, Toasty completes his flank, comes up behind the VK and gets some free shots at close range into his side. He takes one in return from the VK, but he can afford that. And providing the VK doesn't roll high on him, then he can afford to take another. And backpedaling all the while, not using auto aiming, he manages to finish him off with leaving himself on 113 hit points and picking up his 8th kill. Now let's have a look at the endgame score screen. And here we are at the endgame score screen for Toasty's round on El Haloof. As you can see, that was Toasty's mastery badge in the T-34. Picked up the ace tanker there. He also picked himself up a Radley Walters medal for the amount of kills he got that game. He also picked himself up a high caliber and a top gun. So a thoroughly great round for Toasty. That was also his ×3 for the day as well, but we'll take a closer look at that in a minute. Now if we head across to the team score page, you'll see that that round he really did carry the game. He did 2,429 damage, with the next nearest person on his team being the Su-85 doing 917. So he did nearly over 1.5 times the amount of damage of the next nearest player on his team, so a sterling effort. He picked himself up 8 kills, which ensured him the Radley Walters medal, and that was a whopping 1,346 base experience there. So a really great round for a tier 5. Now if we head across to the detailed report, you can see that that round he fired 51 shots. Out of the 51 that he fired, 36 were direct hits, and 33 of those 36 direct hits penetrated, giving him the total of 2,429 damage. He received 3 hits in return, of which all 3 penetrated. The armour on the T-35, although sloped and angled, isn't particularly good. Most things do tend to penetrate it. Also received 2 hits as splash damage. He spotted an enemy vehicle and he damaged 10 enemy vehicles that game and destroyed 8. And did 276 player assisted damage. Now due to a lot of the driving around the map that he did that game, he travelled a whopping 3.42 kilometres. As you can see, he was running a non-premium account when he did that replay, and he received 35,748 credits, and after deductions for repairs to the vehicle and resupplies to the ammunition, looks like no consumables were used there, he made a profit of 30,752 credits, which is really good for a non-premium account. If he had been running a premium account, he would have netted himself 4,626 credits. So a great round for a tier 5 game for sure. Now his base experience he picked up was 1,346, and as I mentioned before, that was his ×3. So he actually scooped himself 4,038 experience there for his first win of the day. And if he had been running a premium on that, that would have been a whopping 6,057. Now, I hope you enjoyed this replay. There'll be plenty more to come, although we're just moving across to the 9.3 patch now. So we're at the tail end of 9.2 replays, of which this is one of them. So if you want to be included for the subscriber replay section, of course, A, you need to be a subscriber. B, you need to be sending me a current replay. So we're moving into 9.3 now. It needs to be 9.3 replays from here on, gentlemen. Also, the other thing to do is to watch my subscriber replay video. Have a look through that. All the full details are in there, including the email address where you need to send the replays to and the detailed information I would like you to submit with the replays when you send them. I'm Pricie, and I'll see you on the next one.